Steps 6 and 7, entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. That's 6. 7, humbly ask Him to remove our shortcomings. I was lost. What do you mean, right? This is one of those things where they talk about we claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. For me, it takes place right here in 6 and 7. And there's very little information on 6 and 7. This is why there's a sponsor is so important. But I think for me, it was important to know the difference between a defect of character and a shortcoming, right? The defect of character is something that is well ingrained in me. I base my behavior on that defect of character, right? And the shortcoming is how it manifests itself in my life. I'll give you a perfect example, right? Defect of character for me, I think like a criminal. That's what it is. I have since a kid. I cheer for the bad guys in movies, right? I love mafia and gangster stuff. I think like a criminal. How does it manifest itself in my life, right? When all the bills come due and the insurance payments and the house note comes due and you have to buy food for the kitchen, right? Say, oh, I could go flip a couple ounces of cocaine and make that money. You see, my defect of character is that I think like a criminal. And then the shortcoming is how it manifests itself in my life. Going to sell dope because I need the money, which exposes another character defect of mine, justification, right? I'm justifying this behavior that actually, I love the lifestyle. I'm a dope dealer. You know, I loved all that, the bad guy in the movie. I justify that by saying, I need this money to pay my bills. So I'm right, okay? And the reason that 6 and 7, for me, separates the men from the boys is because nobody knows you're doing it except you, right? I'm the only one that knows if I'm showing up 10 minutes early for work or 10 minutes late. Now, they'll catch on. You see what I'm saying? Whenever I would go to my job out here, I worked at a local restaurant in Louisville, Kentucky here, a couple years into my sobriety. And here's how you're the only one that knows if you're really working 6 and 7, right? I would go into work every day as a manager, and the general manager there, I didn't like him. I didn't like the way he acted, didn't like the way he treated me, didn't like the way he spoke to me, right? I would go into work knowing he was going to speak to me sideways, almost inviting it and waiting for it, right? So I could argue and fight and be right. You've heard the term win the battle, lose the war, you know? So every day I knew that I was going to walk in and this guy was going to say something sideways to me. I would let it happen, argue, and then carry that resentment and walk around upset the rest of the day, the rest of the shift, and I would take it home to Elena and my girls and come in there livid about how I was treated today, about how this guy talked to me and how dare he, and I brought it home with me. You see what I'm saying? My character defect, see, I was a victim. I was playing a victim. My life would be so much better if this guy wasn't here making it rough on me that I have to answer to because he's my boss, right? Truth of the matter was, I wasn't looking at the shortcoming of it. I wasn't looking at my role in it and how I was allowing it to manifest in my life, right? And once I worked with my sponsor and dug in and looked at this stuff, and my sponsor started asking me, what's your role in it, right? I'm thinking, I don't know. What's my role? I work hard. I do my job. I don't deserve to be talked to like this. He said, your role in it is that you know it's coming, you bite into it and let it affect you anyway, and then you take it home to your family. This is your fault. Whoo! So, I applied my program. I remember the roadmap to what makes Sweezy homeless? This is on the roadmap right here, playing a victim. And everything would be so much better if you all would just do things the way I say it and leave me the hell alone, right? So I had to start waking up and I had to apply that prayer and meditation. I had to start my day off, and it says, think about the 24 hours ahead. That's what that means. Oh, I'm going to go to work today and do things the right way. And this dude is going to come along at some point and try to insult me and get in my business and try to ruin the rest of my day. And I have a decision to make of whether I'm going to allow that to happen or not. Now, this is why they say we claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection, right? It didn't happen on the first day, but slowly over a period of time of waking up, doing my prayer and meditation, and knowing that this was going to happen when this guy was at work, I was ready for it. I go in, I do things the way I'm supposed to. Here he comes, he's going to open his mouth and throw a mop and cuss everybody out or something. And I developed this skill where I managed my own shortcoming. And when he would do that, I learned how to smile and go, whatever you say, man, and go on to work. And I didn't take it with me through the rest of my shift. I didn't take it home to my girl. I'm only accountable for my actions and how I treat people, right? I'm not accountable for the way he just treated me. And my shortcoming and my character defect, that was my fault, that I was taking that home to my family. So knowing the difference between the character defect, the shortcoming, and the idea that we're going to work, it says we're driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity. That's 100 forms of each one. This is just one example.